Hello guys, welcome to PyPower Tutorials. Today we'll learn a wonderful library of Python, that is SciPy. So now what is SciPy? SciPy is same as scientific Python. All scientific calculations, mathematical functions, all are included in this particular Python library known as SciPy. So these 8 topics we'll cover in this tutorial. Let's start with first, that is polynomial. For that you have to import from NumPy, import poly1d polynomial. So how can you create a polynomial? For that you have to pass a list in 1d polynomial as an argument. It will create a polynomial of it. Here I have passed 3, 6 and 8, so it will generate a 1d polynomial of 2 degree, that is 3x square plus 6x plus 8 as shown here. Now you can multiply this polynomial, so p into p, that is p square, so 3x square plus 4x plus 5 whole square, that will give this following 9x power 4 plus 36x cube and so on. Now if you want to calculate root of a particular polynomial, for that p dot r, that will generate an array of root. Here my equation has complex root, so x plus iy form of root are presented here. Now when I write only p, it will give me the coefficients of my polynomial. Now if I want to change the variable of my polynomial, if my equation is of the form 3x square plus 6x plus 8 and I want equation y square, I mean in a form of y, so what I have to do? So for that I have to pass this variable argument keyword as a y. So now my polynomial will be 1y square plus 2y plus 3. So by passing this variable equal to y, will generate a polynomial of that particular variable. These are some special functions of polynomial, that are integration and differentiation. So p dot intg means integration, so this will integrate our polynomial. My polynomial is currently 3x square plus 6x plus 8. When I will integrate it, it will become x cube plus 3x square plus 8x plus some constant c. That indefinite integration has some constant c. We have to pass here that argument, that what we have to take that constant, indefinite integration constant. So I have passed k equal to 6, that means my constant is 6. I can also do differentiation of my polynomial. So p dot derive, that will differentiate my polynomial. My polynomial is 3x square plus 6x plus 8. When I will differentiate it, it will 6x plus 6. So here it is the result. So this is a basic of SciPy, that is polynomial part. Now let's move to second part of our tutorial, is special function. So SciPy library has a module called special. So to use that functions of special module, you have to import it. So you have to write import SciPy dot special. This is an array of 10 elements starting from 1 to 10. So for cube root, you can use this particular function SciPy dot special dot cbrt, and you have to pass array or a particular number in argument. It will return cube root of a particular number. So here cube root of 1 is 1, cube root of 2 is 1.25 and so on. Cube root of 8 is 2. So here cube root of every element of array is generated. Now this is exponent. So exponent of 10, exp 10, that will, x is 3, so 10 power 3, so 10 power 3 is 1000. exp 2, that is exponent of 2. So this particular function will return 2 power x, output of 2 power x as an result. So I have passed argument as 3, so 2 power 3 is 8, so it will return 8 as a result. Now this particular function is radian. So scipy.special.radian will convert your degree into a radian. So it will take three arguments, that is degree, minutes and second. As you know that every 60 second is 1 minute and every 60 minute is 1 degree. So our particular degree is specified in a degree, minute and second format. So it will take three arguments, degree, minute and second. So scipy.special.radian, that will take three arguments and return a radian conversion of it. Also in this particular special module of SciPy, you can perform trigonometric operations. So multiple trigonometric operations you can perform here, but these all are in degree. So you can use sin dg. Sin dg function will take argument in a degree format and return its sign value. So sin 30, as you all know, is 0.5. So here output is 4.99, which is nearly equal to 0.5. Now cos 30. Cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So corresponding value is shown here. And tan 30. Tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So a float value representing 1 by root 3 is presented here. So you can use these trigonometric functions in a degree format to calculate the trigonometric functions in this from this special library of SciPy. Now you can perform permutations and combinations using this. So scipy.special.perm, it will take two argument, that is 5p2. So what is, let's say example 5p2, that is np2, that is n factorial upon n minus r factorial. So 5p2 is equal to 20. So I have to pass 5 and 2 as an argument and it will return 5p2, that is 20 as a result. Now combination. So NCR is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial into r factorial. So what is 5c2? 5c2 is 10. So when I will use scipy.special.combination, it will return 5c2, that is 10 as a result. Now third part of a tutorial is integration. So for that you have to import scipy.integrate. So let's look at the integration module of SciPy, but before that let's have a look at lambda function. What is lambda function in brief? Let's understand it. Let's say I have a function def f of x which will return a square of it. So when I will call that function f of 3, it will return 9. Same thing I can do without making a function using lambda. So I can write lambda x such that x square. So my f is now same as x square. I repeat, now my f is same as x square. So my f will take one argument x and it will return x square of it. You can make your lambda function with more than one variable. For that you have to just make function accordingly. So here my g is a function of x and y. My g is a function of x and y which is equal to xy. So g of 2, 3 will return 6. Now let's move towards integration function. So this chord means a simple integration. It will take three arguments, that is first is function, second is lower argument, that is lower limit, and second is upper limit as shown here. So scipy.integrate.chord, it will take three arguments. Now my function is x cube. So my function is x cube, lower limit is 1 and upper limit is 2, and I will integrate it, then result will be printed here as a 3.75. Now this is my second function. Same single integration is there, but my function is now different. My function is e power minus x cube. So I will take function as e power minus x cube, lower limit as 1 and upper limit as 4, and my output will be 0.85. So this is a basic introduction, that is a function of integrate function, that is chord, that will perform a single integration for you. Now double integration, that is DBL chord. So what this DBL chord will do, it will perform double integration for you. Double integration is basically used for area under curve, for calculating area under curve purposes, and many other applications for double integration are there. So what this DBL code will take as an argument: first it will take a function, second is lower limit, third is upper limit, and fourth and fifth argument are function of outer integration. As you all are familiar with double integration, so I am not taking a deep look into it. So I have passed argument here, that is lambda x and y, such that xy lower limit is 0.5, and these are my other two functions, and I will calculate area, it is 0.10. so DBL code is it will calculate double integration for you. I hope you understood the first three parts of our tutorial. Now let's have a look at fourth part, that is linear algebra. That is one of the most powerful and important portion of SciPy, as you can perform a numerous operations of matrices in this particular module of SciPy. So for that you have to import scipy.linear algebra, LINALG. I have created array A1, that is 2D array of 1, 2, 3, 4. First I will calculate the determinant of a matrix. For that I have to use .det, .determinant function. It will take array as an argument. So my array is 1, 2, 3, 4. When I will calculate determinant of this, you can see here that 4 minus 6, that is minus 2. So determinant of my matrix is minus 2. It generates result. Now this is a special operation in this module, that is LU decomposition. So what is LU decomposition? Whenever I perform .lu in my particular array, it will generate three matrices, it will return three matrices, and I have to store it in a 3 variable. My array is, you can see here, 9 element 2D array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8. 7, 8, 8. It is my array. Now linear algebra .lu, and I will pass A as an argument. It will return 3. What is P? So P is my permutation matrix. L is my lower triangular matrix with unit diagonal element, and U is my upper triangular matrix. We'll have a look over it. So when I will print P, it will print the permutation matrix. When I will print L, it will print lower triangular. You can see that these all three elements are now 0. So this is my lower triangular matrix, and this is upper triangular matrix. So these all elements are having value, and other three elements are now 0. So this is upper triangular matrix. You can perform .lu operation on your matrix also. You can also calculate eigenvalues and eigenvectors of your matrix. For that you can use .eig method. .eig method will generate two array, return two array. First is EV and second is EW. That is, first is eigenvalues and second is eigenvectors. So you have to store in two variables. When I will print eigenvalues, these are the eigenvalues of my array, and these are the eigenvectors of my array. You can also solve linear equations using this module. So general matrix equation is of the form Ax equal to B. So A is known, B is known, and X is our solution of this equation. So my A is this particular array and B is this particular array. I can solve these matrices using a simple method called .solve. This will take two arguments A and B and return a matrix, solution matrix, as an result. So my linear algebra.solve, I have passed two argument A and B and returns X. When I will print X, it is a solution of this linear equation. So solution is 7 by 3, 11 by 3 and 1, that is minus 7 by 3, sorry, minus 7 by 3, 11 by 3 and minus 1. So this is a solution of my A and B. You can also calculate inverse of a matrix. So this is my array. Using .inv method, you can calculate inverse of a matrix. This is inverse of my original array A. For cross check, you can verify using this. A into inverse of A will return I, that is identity matrix. So A dot linear algebra inv of A, that is A dot inverse of A, that will return identity matrix of 3 cross 3, that is all diagonal elements are 1 and other are 0. So you can also cross verify by this. So SciPy dot linear algebra, that is LINALG, can perform numerous operations of matrices, including determinant, inverse, solving linear equations and many more. So you can explore this also. Now fifth part is Fourier transformation. So what is Fourier transformation? Fourier transformation is a tool that breaks a waveform, a function or a signal into an alternate representation characterized by sines and cosines. A Fourier transformation shows that any waveform can be written as a sum of sinusoidal functions. So any signal can be written as a sum of sine waves and cosine waves that you can calculate using Fourier transformations. For that you have to import SciPy.ffT pack. So FFT stands for fast Fourier transformations. So using this pack, that is this module of SciPy, you can calculate Fourier transformations. These two methods are most important in this module: FFT, that is fast Fourier transformations, and IFFT, that is inverse fast Fourier transformation. I have one array of 6 elements. I can calculate Fourier transformation on that array using SciPy.ffTpack.fft, and I will pass array as an argument. So it will generate an array that is of a Fourier transformation on that array, and using IFFT it will generate an inverse Fourier transformation. So this is my inverse Fourier transformation. For cross verification I can also show you. So when I will perform Fourier transformation on my inverse Fourier transformation, as we have shown earlier that A into A inverse will generate into I. So when I will perform a Fourier transformation on my inverse Fourier transformation, it should give me my original array or original matrix. So this is my I. So I is 1, 5, 6 and my original array is 1, 5, 6. So you can say that Fourier transformation of an inverse Fourier transformation will return the original matrix. Moving towards the sixth part of tutorial is interpolation. So what is interpolation? Interpolation is a type of estimation method of constructing new data points within the range of discrete set of known data points. So it is a method of estimating values between known data points. So let's understand this using an example. SciPy.interpolate is the module that you have to import for this particular purpose. Now these are my array. This is linear interpolation on my points, and this is quadratic interpolation on my points. So you have to pass your x and y, and you have to pass keyword kind equal to what kind of interpolation you have to do. So kind equal to linear will perform linear interpolation, that is this inter p and 1D, this is 1D interpolation. So kind linear interpolation, quadratic interpolation or cubic interpolation you can perform. There are many other interpolation, but these are the basic and effective for understanding. So I have make a legend so that you can understand this effectively using graph. Now these blue dots are my original points. Okay, this line is my, you can see that each point is connected by a single straight line. This is my 1D interpolation, that is this orange or red color line is my 1D interpolation, and this dotted blue color line is a quadratic interpolation of my points. So I can see that my linear interpolation is more effective in this case. Now let's have a look at a cubic interpolation. What this cubic interpolation can give. I have to add one legend here. Cubic interpolation. I have to once run this code. Yes, so this is cubic interpolation. This green color line is a cubic interpolation. My quadratic and cubic is nearly equal to same, but you can understand it in a way that these are the points, and using 1D, 2D or cube, I mean linear, quadratic or cubic, you can understand which interpolation shoots best for your given data set or given points. So as discussed earlier, it is a method of estimating values between known data points. Now this is the statistics. So scipy.stats is a module that you have to import here. These are the common methods that are included in this particular module. This norm.rbs. So what will this particular method will return? It will return an array of 500 elements, but the special thing about this array is their mean of all elements would be 0 and standard deviation will be 1. So when I will perform a sum of all the elements, it will be always 0 and standard deviation will be 1. So this is the special thing of this RVS array. You can pass here any argument, 500, 600, 50, 10, any, but this will be a special condition of this array, that its mean will always be 0 and standard deviation will be 1. So when I will print here, you can see that mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1 and variance is 1 because it is under root of standard deviation, square root of standard deviation. This is CDF, so continuous distribution function. When I will perform norm.cdf on my array, it will give an array, which will have a CDF, that is continuous distribution function of all the elements present in my array. And this is PPF. So what is PPF? It is a reverse of CDF. So percentage point function. When I have to pass an argument of CDF, so I have passed 0.5 as an argument, it will return an element of array whose CDF is 0.5. So it will return 0 as an result. You can perform various operations like max, min, variance and maximum, minimum using this module. This is geometric mean. So for that you have to import scipy.states.mstates, and from that you have to use gmin method. So gmin of an array generates a geometric mean of all the elements present in an array. This is harmonic mean. Same as gmin, you have to pass an array and it will result a harmonic mean of all the elements of that array that are present in it. Mode, this will return mode of your array, that is here my mode result is array of 3. So my 3 element, that is here 3 and here 3, it is repeated twice. And last but not the least, that is miscellaneous examples of this particular scipy module is the scientific constants. There are number of scientific constants present in mathematics or science, and you can get any value of the value of any particular constant using scipy module. So writing this scipy.constant.find, it will give the list of all the constants present in the scipy module. You can see that these all constants are present in this module. Great. Starting from A till W, all constants are there. But the question is, now I want to find a particular constant or value of particular constant, then how could I do? So its solution is here. So scipy.constant.find, in that you have to pass a keyword. So it's not necessary that you have to know exactly what it is stored in the module, but you have to just write Planck. So all the constant having Planck or starting with Planck or Planck as an string in it, it will be result in a string in a list format. So these all are having Planck in their name, so you can choose anyone, and for getting value of it you can use this method physical constants. It will return the value and its unit, so it is joule per hertz. Joule per hertz, it is the value of Planck constant. Now if you want only values, then you can use scipy.constant.value, so it will return only value of that particular constant. That is, now Planck constant is 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. Now value of Boltzmann constant, so you can get value 1.3 to 10 power minus 23. scipy.constant.pi, it will return 3.14. in this way there are number of constants, you can get any value, use in your problem or your. So that's it for SciPy tutorial. If you want more information about SciPy, then do visit the official documentation of SciPy in this link. And thanks for watching. Happy learning. Thank you.